All right, let's talk about one of the most mysterious, most controversial ancient books you've probably never heard of in Sunday school. It's a text jam-packed with cosmic secrets, fallen angels, and a story so wild it almost feels like a lost prequel to the Bible. We're diving into the Book of Enoch. Have you ever wondered where some of the wildest ideas come from? Like, where did we get the detailed story of angels having children with humans? Or the idea of giant monsters walking the earth? The Bible definitely hints at this stuff, but another ancient book, well, it spells it all out in unbelievable detail. And that book is the Book of Enoch. This is an ancient Jewish apocalyptic text, and it's attributed to Enoch himself, Noah's great-grandfather. And for early Jews and Christians, this book was a huge deal. So let's get into what makes it so special. Okay, we're going to start with the part of the book that makes it so legendary and, frankly, so explosive. We're talking about the story of the fallen angels, a group called the Watchers. Just listen to this quote. It is absolutely wild. The book claims a fallen angel named Azazel taught humanity how to make weapons and also makeup. No, you heard that right. The beautifying of the eyelids, jewelry, it's listed right there with swords and knives as a source of humanity's corruption. This is all part of the book's main incredible story. It describes a group of about 200 angels, the Watchers, led by a guy named Semiazaz. They look down from heaven, they see human women, and they decide they want them. So they make a pact to just abandon their posts, come down to earth, and take wives for themselves. And the children from these unions? Well, they weren't exactly human. They were the Nephilim, these monstrous giants that, according to the book, stood 300 cubits tall. Do you know how tall that is? That's over 450 feet. That's taller than the Statue of Liberty. These things were so hungry they ate all of humanity's food, and when that wasn't enough, they started eating people and drinking their blood. But here's the real kicker. It wasn't just the giants who were the problem. The fallen angels corrupted everyone by teaching them all this forbidden knowledge. They spilled the secrets of making weapons, casting spells, reading the stars, and yeah, even the art of makeup. According to the Book of Enoch, this is the real reason things got so bad that God had to send the Great Flood to wipe the slate clean. Now, here's something that most people don't realize. The Book of Enoch isn't just one long story about fallen angels and giants. It's actually a collection of 5 totally separate books, all bundled together under Enoch's name, each with its own unique focus. So let's break down what's in this 5-part epic. First, you've got the Book of the Watchers. That's the crazy story we just talked about. Then comes the Book of Parables, which gives these visions of the end times and a Messiah figure called the Son of Man. After that, there's the Astronomical Book, which is like this ancient guide to the cosmos and a 364-day solar calendar. Then it gets weird with the Book of Dream Visions, which tells the entire history of Israel using animals as symbols. And finally, you have the Epistle of Enoch, which is full of wisdom and final warnings. And that animal apocalypse part might sound a little strange, but this table breaks it down perfectly. It's all an allegory, a code. The sheep, that's the people of Israel. The lions and tigers that hunt them, those are the big bad empires like Assyria and Babylon. The ram with the giant horn who rises up to save the day, well, scholars are pretty sure that's a hero like Judas Maccabeus, who led the famous Jewish revolt. It's the history of Israel told like a fable. So you might be thinking, okay, cool story, but was this just some weird fringe book? The answer is not at all. In fact, its ideas were so popular that its influence is hiding in plain sight, right in the New Testament. And this is where things get really, really interesting. For a book that's not in most Bibles today, it gets a direct shout-out. And I don't mean just a subtle nod. I mean a New Testament writer literally names Enoch and quotes a prophecy straight from his book. I mean, just look at this side by side. The connection is absolutely undeniable. In the New Testament, the Epistle of Jude quotes a passage that is almost word for word from the Book of Enoch. And the most important part, Jude straight up says, and Enoch, also, the 7th from Adam, prophesied of these. He's telling his readers that this text is legitimate prophecy. And it wasn't just that one quote. So many core ideas in early Christianity and the Judaism of that time were shaped by this book. The whole concept of the Son of Man as a heavenly judge, the origin story for demons, the resurrection of the dead, tons of details about the apocalypse, the fingerprints of Enoch are all over these ideas. So if this book was so important, what happened to it? Why isn't it more famous? Well, its journey through history is an incredible survival story of being lost and found again. For centuries, it basically vanished from the Western world. The book's timeline is just amazing. It's written centuries before Jesus, it's quoted by early church leaders, but then, around the 4th century, it starts getting labeled as controversial and just fades away in the West. But here's the incredible part. It was never truly lost. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church considered it sacred scripture the entire time and kept it safe. Then, in 1773, a Scottish explorer named James Bruce brings copies back to Europe. And the final proof of how ancient it really was, in 1948, they found fragments of the original Aramaic text among the Dead Sea Scrolls. Case closed. Which, of course, brings us to the biggest question of all. If it's ancient, if it was influential, if it was literally quoted in the New Testament, why isn't the Book of Enoch in most of our Bibles today? Well, there's no single simple answer, but a couple of big reasons. For Rabbinic Judaism, the book's deep dive into mysticism, angels, and apocalyptic visions didn't quite fit with the growing focus on law and ethics. And for Christianity, even though it was popular at first, those super detailed and kind of weird teachings about fallen angels became, well, a little too controversial for later theologians. By the 4th century, it was pretty much pushed out of the official lineup. But, and this is so important, it was never forgotten everywhere. To this very day, the Ethiopian and Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo churches, along with the Beta Israel Jewish community, still consider the Book of Enoch to be holy scripture. They have preserved it in an unbroken tradition for centuries. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. The Book of Enoch acts like a prequel to some of the Bible's most dramatic events. It fills in a ton of gaps, and it directly influenced the writers of the New Testament. So, if a book had that much of an impact, does it really matter whether it made it into the official final version or not? It's a question that really makes you think about what we consider scripture in the first place.